Hi, everyone. I'm Paul with MadCap Software. This is the last video in our series on dealing with projects, Flare projects in MadCap Central. And this is a really cool feature that I'm going to talk about here, and that is analytics, which is really, really important because what analytics does is it lets you go look and see how people are interacting with your output. What are they searching for? What pages are they landing on? And all of this information is going to help you improve your Flare projects and your output over time. Now, you might be thinking, well, I already use Google Analytics. That's cool. You can use that. A lot of people will use that. You can, get an ID and you put it into your into your Flare project, usually into template page, and you can use Google Analytics. But there's nothing wrong with using both Google Analytics and Central Analytics together, because you're going to get some things in one place and not in the other. There are some things that are really important in Central Analytics that you're just not going to get elsewhere. So let's go in and see how you set this up, how you use it, how it all works. So the analytics stuff is over here on the left. Click Analytics. And this works with keys that you put into your Flare projects, okay? So that into your Flare targets, actually, so that you can see the data for that particular output. You can see I've already got a couple in here. So in order to get set up for this, first of all, you need to have the right permissions. You've got to, let's go look at my user settings and permissions. And it is right here, manage output analytics keys. Make sure you've got that in order to create the keys. Okay, so you can create the key from here, from Central. You just click the plus sign and you give it a name. You can see I've given names here, my analytics or module 1 analytics. In my actual situation, my actual projects, say, for example, our Flare output is versioned. And so I'll create an analytics key each time we have a new version. So Flare 2021, Flare 2021 R2, Flare 2021 R3, each version, and then, Lingo and Central and all these different products and the outputs. I'll create a key that's just for that. And then you can also add a description. You can see they're listed. They're here. So in case you got a team of people and they want to know, oh, what's this one for? And you can spell it out in more detail. What you need to do after you create that analytics key, you still need to go into your project and you need to tie it in there. So I'm stepping in here to interrupt this video just for a moment, because when I first shot this video on analytics, you had to go into Flare to tie an analytics key to a target, but you can now do this from within Central. So I'm going to show you how to do this in Central, and then the rest of the video will show how to also do it in Flare if you want to do it that way. So in Central, I am on the projects page, going to open up this project, go into Files, go into Project, down here to Targets, and open up a target. I'm going to click Edit and come all the way down here. You see Analytics key. It says None. I just click on that and I choose whichever one I want. Then I commit my changes and I'm all done. The Analytics key is tied to that target. That's how it's done in Central. One place. So I'm going to go into a Flare project. All right, and this works with HTML5 output, by the way. So like I've got a chum here, that's not going to work. So I'm going to open up a target for this HTML5 thing right here. It's going to open up and you come down to Analytics. And what you do is, first of all, you select your provider and you want to select Central. Okay, I am already logged in. And so there's my license, and all I do is click Create Key. And let's just do, I'm just going to kind of type the same thing as my target, online combination course. All right. This is the course that has both knowledge checks and a test, just more information. All right, so then I just click OK. and it creates it down here. Okay, you can see it's listed. There's the others that have been created as well. All right, so now that I have done that, I'll go back into Central and refresh this, and there's my new one. Okay, and if I open this up, there's all the data that is being tracked. Now this is completely empty, and it's empty because I haven't made it available to anyone yet. No one has gone in and clicked on any topics or searched for anything. But I'm going to go back here to one that's more established. This one, I think there's some things in here. Yeah. So let's just look through this to see what you've got in your analytics. So in order for this to start populating, so you build your output, and then you're going to deal with sites. You can. So the great thing about analytics is you can host the output on Central through sites. You can set up a site, make it live, and then once people start going in and clicking on things, then this will automatically populate. But you don't have to have your output hosted on Central. You can still create an analytics key, a Central analytics key, and you can have your output hosted on your own servers somewhere. The only thing about that is you got to make sure that where your output is located, it isn't locked down, so that Central needs to be able to connect. It needs to be able to see what's happening on your server where your output is. So as long as you don't have any firewall or anything in place that's preventing that, you should be good to go. All right, so you come in here, and here's the stuff that you can see, and it's listed on the left. These are the different kinds of reports, and then you get this graph, and you get a grid down below, which gives you specifics about each thing. So phrases, immediately it just goes to phrases, and so what this is it's search phrases, and you can see I already have some down here. It's just some lorem ipsum stuff, feature 1, feature 2. So you can see what terms people are searching for the most, and the topic results that are coming up. I'll come back to this in a minute. The micro content results, very, very important there. Okay, so you can see what people are looking for. That's important. What are people after in your output? Maybe you need to provide more information about those things. Now, phrases with no results is really important too, because not only are you getting search keywords, things that people are looking for, there's nothing coming up. There's no search results that are coming up. So if you look at this and you see a whole bunch of searches for a particular term, maybe you need to go in and add content for that, or maybe you need to use Flair's synonym feature, create synonyms, so that when people look for this other thing comes up, because maybe you didn't account for the fact that people will use different words. All right, so this is really important too. Okay, and as it goes on, you can see there can be several pages. This shows 25 items per page, but you can go up to 200. And then if you get lots of pages, you'll be able to navigate to them down here. When I first make my output live, starts out immediately, I can just refresh and see things coming in. And then if I go away and come back in a few weeks, there's thousands of search phrases in there. All right, topics. You get to see what topics people are going to most. So that's pretty cool. And context sensitive help calls. If you've got context sensitive help, this particular little output, I don't have any CSH IDs, but if I did and people were going to those, it would list the results in here. Browser statistics, you can see what browsers people are using. And so in this case, you can see 3 different versions of Chrome listed right up here. Most of people are using this version of Chrome, and some people are using Firefox, Microsoft Edge. This is a little test project. So in an actual project, when I look at my output, my analytics for my output, this goes on. There's lots of browsers that people are using. And then operating systems. This particular one, again, this is a little test project, so it's only got Windows 10. This is mostly me in here, but you're going to see probably a variety of operating systems, maybe even some, you'll see some smartphones in there, you'll see Android. And so that maybe gives you a clue that, oh, I need to make sure my output is responsive. So this will guide you, let you know what's actually happening in your output. You can download the results in a CSV file if you want. You can filter this, particular dates. And yeah, so lots of really, really good information in here. Now, I do want to come back to this one thing here on the phrases page. This is probably, these two are probably the ones that I go to the most. And one reason why I really like this is this micro content results column in here. So I'm not going to go into what exactly I'm not going to go into detail about what micro content is, but just to give you a quick idea, when you search in the output, and if there's a little block of content at the top above the search results, that's micro content. And so actually, if you really want to dive into this, and I would highly recommend it, it's my favorite feature in Flare, I would recommend that you go onto the MadCap software website, look for the Flare videos on micro content. I have a whole series of this, so I go into a lot of detail on creating micro content. And so the reason why I really like this is when somebody puts in a phrase, this will let me know over here whether or not they're seeing micro content for it. If there's a check mark, they're seeing it. If they're seeing an X here, they're not getting micro content in the results. What that tells me is I might want to go back into my Flare project and maybe create some micro content for some of these things, because that will help their experience get to the information quicker. And this little filter is nice right here, because I could just, instead of just scrolling through potentially thousands of search terms in here, and all I want is to look at the X's because I want to know what can be improved, I can just use this filter and say, just show me the stuff that doesn't have micro content. And it'll get rid of the ones with the check marks, the check marks, and it'll just show me the X's in here. And so I can just kind of start at the top, the ones that are getting the most searches, go improve micro content, republish, and there you go. So like I said, this is a really important part of Central, because you are continuously trying to improve your documentation. And one of the best ways to do that is by looking at analytics, how people are using it. I would definitely encourage you to go and look at those Flare videos on micro content, get into that, get into this analytics and test it out and just put it into use. I think you're really, really going to like it. That does it for this video series on using Flare projects in MadCap Central. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.